someone will be studying the history that you make.
Ready? Reset! Well done, boys. Prime and load. First rank to the front. Go, boys! Sweep up, Barry. Sweep up in front of the ring.
So it's something that most people will never see unless they actually go and attend one and look and listen. One of the things that sets our event a little bit aside from others is that the original battle took place in the woods. Our skirmishes and stuff will take place in the woods as well.
We're gonna fire, and you're gonna go when you fire about 20 yards. Stop again, time and load, independent fire, keep them moving.
You're actually part of it.
Joe said that he went out on the back side of his building and saw that at the Chinese restaurant that the porch was on fire, and then most everybody I've talked to in town said they heard 2 explosions, which they were
The barracks worked over a heartfelt project. They folded an American flag into a neat bulky triangle and bundled it carefully with a certificate of appreciation. One of the men, Specialist Kevin Smith, was going home, and he would deliver their gift of thanks. The flag was not for an injured soldier or a missed officer. It was for a tiny, energetic woman named Dawn Pletcher in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania.
So we're getting ready to take off right now. Right now we're taxiing out to the runway. Anything else we should know?
There's some taxiway signs. It's kind of like the road map of the street signs for the airport.
We're starting our flight. Woo, the tail is up on the plane. You can see much more.
Although I was a little nervous at first, those feelings quickly subsided as the landscape of the southern tier became comforting, seeing the changing colors of fall in the never-ending rolling hills.
It's absolutely stunning. So right now we're about 1,000 feet above the valley.
The takeoff was a bit different than the previous flight because Wayne has a smoke system as an added piece of aircraft flair.
Well, the airplane, we've a bunch of guys with similar airplanes. We do a lot of formation flying. We have smoke. The ones with the white buttons are set up. They can be what we call a primary flight display. It gives us an artificial horizon, so it looks just like we're looking out the window. We can fly in the clouds with that. I have airspace.
The future generations of our area to take up the spirit of aviation. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. A BBC television producer, editor of top-rating BBC One program, That's Life. A show with more than 20 million viewers a week.
Thank you and welcome to That's Life.
Briar Scudamore is a journalist at heart, and with a fast-track life, you naturally lose time to remember and learn your family's history.
Right, so I'm here on 2 missions. One is to appeal for your help to find out more about my great-grandfather.
Now retired and launching her own business to make sure others can tell their life story, she begins an expedition of her own, after a group of handwritten letters and a picture were given to her.
The reason I know that is Walter is because it was taken in Worcester, Massachusetts.
She now is following her great-grandfather's footsteps through America, one letter at a time.
A chap called Walter Mitchell, and at 23 years old, he came over in 1867 to seek his fortune.
And today she shares her journey right here in the southern tier.
Mile hike up to the top of the park. There's a lower park and an upper park. There's a trail that runs through the gorge trail, and then there's the rim trail that you can return on that comes back. There are a whole series of cascades.
On a bike ride through a trail that I didn't even know existed. Tell me a little bit about that trail and how people can kind of get involved and work with it.
The trails for paddled or you're a novice to learn the basics, to learn safety, and to go with a group that knows what they're doing, that has experience, guides. It's fun, it's safer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a
Our guest of honor tonight, your husband, holiday specialist,
Explorers have traveled by sailboat for centuries, and with the invention of the motor, I find many people asking why.
Kayaking, selling like
the right amount of sail up. I probably today, knowing that the further up we go, the windier it's going to get, I will single reef the mainsail, meaning I'm not quite going to put all the mainsail up. Here's a stopping point there. We can stop, put the mainsail up right there. Triple reef. We could.
And the captain made sure we understood how this water warrior worked.
More sail doesn't mean that the boat's going to go faster and faster and faster. Every boat has a hull speed, and the hull speed mathematically is the square root of the waterline length times the coefficient 1.34.
It was probably a logical explanation, but I'm going to be honest. As long as the boat didn't flip over, I knew the trip would be good. Getting to know Seneca Lake free with the wind and sail was not only exciting and educational, but extremely relaxing.
Mark Twain Country and Old 73. Old 73 is a replica of an 1890s trolley, similar to what might have ridden the rails here.
Believe it or not, many of Elmira's churches carry the stories of some of the great history of the city, like Trinity Episcopal Church with its golden spire. And just down the street, another church has architecture in
Congregational Church. Well, there off in the park next to the church stands a statue of a tall, kind of a green-looking fellow. That man's name was Reverend Thomas Beecher, and he was minister of the park church for over 40 years. Reverend Beecher was a very outspoken abolitionist, and he had an equally prominent
East Coast Mark Twain study.
Also on the right, nestled among the trees of the campus, this small brown wooden octagonal-shaped building is the study where Mark Twain wrote his greatest classics.